All right, it's day one with this van. We're super excited to get going on the build. First off is all the auto body work. So we are going to be putting in these rear windows right now. Okay, so these are the tools that you're gonna need for your window install on your van. Start off with a drill, 2 drill bits so that you can get the initial holes. You'll connect those and cut out the back window frame with a jigsaw. Make sure you have the correct blade for thin metal. After that, you'll use a metal file to file down the rough edges. You're gonna wanna clean that off with some glass cleaner and a microfiber towel. You also wanna use the glass cleaner and either some, 320 grit sandpaper, or even the backside of a sponge, the rough side of a sponge, to scuff up your windows. You'll clean it off again with this. You'll treat the rear raw metal edges with some Rust-Oleum so you don't have to worry about any rusting. This is a small piece of window trim. This goes around the metal edges and the window goes over that. Then you'll need your 3M primer and a cotton swab as an applicator. That'll go on the metal where the window will stick to, and to use as an adhesive to stick the metal to the window to the metal, you'll use this 3M window weld urethane. These are handy too for putting on the window. Cool. Okay, so the first step is we're gonna be cutting out the inside of the door so that we can put the windows there. So if you look on the inside, you can actually see where the line is, where the window cutout needs to go. So we are gonna start with this drill, small little drill bit, and we're gonna put some small holes in the metal, and we'll connect that with the jigsaw, and we'll have a nice clean cut over here for our windows. So here we go. So Zach did a great job. Got a bunch of the holes that are kind of outlining our cut. It's right next to the frame for our cut. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a larger hole here that we can fit a jigsaw blade through, and we'll use that to come down here and cut out the window hole with a jigsaw blade. And it's important when you use these jigsaw blades that you're using something with a lot of teeth, I think at least 32 teeth, so that it's something that's made to cut the sheet metal. So make sure you use that. So now we've got our jigsaw with our sheet metal blade, and we are going to just kind of connect all these dots and cut out our hole for the window. All right, so we just finished our cut for the window install. We leave the door open while we cut because we want to make sure any metal shards from the cut are left outside of the van and not in the van, because those things rust really bad. So the next step, now that we've got this cut, we've got a file, and we are going to use the file to file all these edges. They're pretty smooth for the most part, but every once in a while you've got a little rough edge. We use this file to get in here and just sand it down. Okay, so next up, we've got our cut. We've filed down the rough edges, so we've got a bunch of smooth edges in here. And we are gonna protect the raw metal with some Rust-Oleum. So we're just gonna, you can take a paintbrush or a rag and just dip it in here and treat all of that raw metal with Rust-Oleum. Let it cure and dry so that you never have a rusting problem. Okay, so next up, we've got our cutout. We filed all the rough edges down, put Rust-Oleum on to treat it, and we've cleaned the outside of any metal shards. So next up is to put this window trim. So there are these little metal clips really close together, and that we're just gonna kind of pinch around the metal, and that will, that'll work. way these are applied is through polyurethane, which is almost like a glue adhesive that this is gonna stick to. So to help it bond and really adhere strongly, we're gonna scuff up just the black side. You don't wanna scuff up the actual window because that's what you look through, but this black part is what we're just gonna rub some sandpaper. We've got like 320. You can also use like the back side of a sponge, and you can just kind of scuff up that black area, and it lets it adhere better when it's sticking to the van. All right, so the next step is to take some glass cleaner and spray it on there and clean off all that grit that you just got off the windows. You want it to be nice and clean. So this is our 3M single step primer, and we've got a little cotton swab here. We're gonna dip it in here. A little goes a long way. We're gonna paint it on the outside. You can see the window trim here. This is where the door ends. So we'll get a good amount of primer all on the metal here. Instead of scuffing the metal up like we did with the windows, we just put the single step primer on, and that's what the urethane is gonna use to adhere the window to the metal of the van. So the next step is to use this 3M window weld urethane, and this is going to be the adhesive that sticks the windows to the actual metal body of the van. So you want to make sure you get a nice bead. You don't want too much, because when you push the window on, you don't want it oozing out the edges, but you also have to have enough so that it is properly installed, and also so that it creates a nice seal so no water gets in. So you can check this out. We've got this little V cut here, which is going to allow for the urethane to stand tall, because what we want is for there to be enough urethane when we push the window against the metal body of the van, that urethane squeezes against itself and creates a nice seal. Key to using the urethane, we've got our 3M primer on there first, and we're putting the urethane on top now. You're going to be putting it between the window trim, and obviously this is where the window is going to end. So what we don't want is we don't want the urethane to get squeezed down and come out this way and then onto the glass, and we don't want it to push out this way and go onto the body. We want it to be directly behind the glass so it looks clean. So what you're really looking for, the key here, is you want height to your urethane bead. So this has a nice height. It's not very wide. That doesn't matter. When you push the glass onto this urethane, it's going to squish itself, and that's what's going to give you your watertight seal. We've got our little window suction cup holders, which make it really nice for putting this on. So the whole idea is I'm going to try to be using this glass to squish down the urethane against itself. The most important seal is the one at the top. So when I'm coming on here, I'm gonna start right here and then to the top. And I'm gonna squish down at the top first, and then kind of slide down and over. Now we should have a pretty good, it looks pretty even and lined up. Just making sure to press down on the glass in all the places where that urethane is, because we really want to make sure it squishes down, creates a nice seal. Good. Next step is to just lay down some tape. And it seems weird, like tape wouldn't hold it. Tape will hold it. So you're just gonna kind of start window to body. You're gonna lay here, window first, into the body. I like to do 3 strips on top. Whoop. Make sure you have a tape holder. Okay. Couple on the side. So do we have? All right, here is the final product of the rear window install for the Sprinter van. And we've got it water tested. It's all good to go. We think it looks really nice, really clean. And we hope you learned something, feel confident for your own window install. If you've got any questions, drop a comment below.